Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unapologetically Keto. My name is Ralph Peterson, and while I am taking my blood, a little glucose and ketone measure, this is day 3 of a 72-hour fast, so I imagine my numbers are going to be looking pretty spectacular. Ooh, 73 for the glucose. I'll take that every single day. Love that. And my ketones, let's check it out. I have this weird confession to make. Really weird confession to make while I'm checking my numbers here. I, for the first time, have this really huge desire to, oh my gosh, 3.6. Do you see that? Holy moly, that's what 3 days of fasting looks like, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try to upload this and talk to you all at the same time so I can see what my DBR is. My DBR stands for Dr. Boz Ratio, and all it is a simplified math, a way to assess your glucose and your ketones. There's a math called a GKI, I think, where you can get a GKI, where you can get the something like a Dr. Boz ratio, but the math is a lot more complicated. So we're gonna go ahead and stick with the easy math, just glucose divided by ketones. And what we're looking for, oh my gosh, a DBR of 20. Okay. I'm so happy. Let me tell you what a DBR is. A DBR shows you where your insulin resistance is at. So it's a way to measure your insulin resistance. And when I first started this journey with Dr. Boz on September 8th, that's when I started her class, my DBR was over 500. It's like 500 or something. I'm not even making that up. I think I can actually show it to you. I think I can show it to you. Well, here, hold on. Not that it matters, but let me do all time, and then let me do DBRs. Let me see here if this is going to show up. If it's going to show up, I'll share it with you. My DBR when I first started working with Dr. Boz was 500. And, okay, this must be it. Nope, that was February, September. Okay. Yeah, look at this. Let me show this to you. This is September 5th. I started working with Dr. Boz on September 8th. I think it was the 8th. Might have been the 5th. And my DBR was 515. And now today, let me go ahead and update this. Let me show you. I'll just do, I want to do the last 28 days, or I can even just do the last 7 days, doesn't matter. My DBR today is 20. My highest DBR, that was 79. This DBR, come on, show it to me, was 117. I had a DBR of 117 on December 15th. But look at all these other DBRs. They're super low, right? All of them are, that's 74, that's 79. So except this little anomaly on December 15th, which I don't know what happened, but forget that. A DBR of under 80 is fat loss. That means your body is burning ketones, i.e. fat, as a fuel source rather than glucose. So that's what the DBR ratio is. Anything under 80 is fat loss. Anything under 40 is metabolic health. And anything under 20 is cancer repair. So any cancerous cells in your body are being repaired, replaced, flushed out of the system with a DBR of 20. And today my DBR is 20. I mean, come on. That's pretty fantastic. All right, back to my confession. I have a confession today. And it's weird that I'm in this place, and maybe not so weird. I want to call you. I want to reach out. I want to send you a text. I want to send you an email. I want to call you, and I want to be that annoying friend who says, hey, can we talk about your weight and your diet, please? Now, the reason why this is so weird to me, that I want to do it, is because I hated it when people did it to me. I could not stand it when people would go, you know what you should do? I'm like, yeah, get new friends, like, boy, you've gotten heavy. Thank you. Thanks for noticing. I appreciate you. I mean, people would have the best intentions, and I know, we have some jerks out there, but most of the people that I would interact with, people that knew me, and they would come up and they would be like, Ralph, you're getting pretty heavy, what are you doing? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Everybody's being super nice, they're trying to be helpful. And I appreciate that. And low key, I hated it. I never wanted to be reminded that I was in a size 48 pants, that my waist was 52 inches around. I didn't want to be it's weird, but when I was 350 plus pounds, I never saw myself as 350 plus pounds. And it was only when either I looked in a mirror or looked at a picture, and trust me when I say, at 350 pounds, I avoided mirrors and pictures like the plague. I wanted nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them. I would get a glimpse. I would get reminders, these little reminders. Oh, by the way, that's me, by the way. That's me at 350 plus pounds. I have a few pictures of me behind me. I blew them up, and I want to put them down here in my podcast studio as a... I don't know why. As a reminder, as motivation. I think initially, and I know I'm sidetracking a little bit. I think initially I wanted to have them up as like a motivation or like a reminder. But I've changed my mind since I've put them up, since I put this picture up. I've changed my mind on why that picture is up and why I'm going to hang the other two. It's because I freaking love that guy. I love him. I really, really love him. That's why I want him up here. Because I don't want to forget him. Because I appreciate him and all the things he went through. That's why he's up there. Anyway, when I weighed 350 pounds, I lived in this delusional bubble. I didn't see myself the way others saw me. And when somebody was vocal about it, like, holy hell, look at that guy, or, whoa, you're getting a little big, or, hey, have you heard about this diet? Or, and I had friends. And again, I mean this. I know that they had the best of intentions. I know that they were not trying to hurt my feelings. They were not trying to be sassy in any way. They were legitimately trying to help. They're like, oh my God, you should try this diet. Oh, you should. Have you heard of this thing? Have you heard of this diet? This diet? I have some friends that are doing these shakes, and it's really, really helpful. If you want to get on this call, we have a nutritionist on this call, and she's going to walk us through how to use this shake protocol. Everybody who, in that light approached me about, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? What are you doing? Is there anything I can do to help? And I mean this sincerely, I hated it. I hated it because you were a reminder to me that all was not well in Ralphville. you were bringing to the forefront what I already knew. I mean, I knew I was heavy. I knew I wasn't happy. I knew I couldn't walk a flight of stairs. I know. And I didn't like being reminded. I didn't like it being, brought up. And I wished everybody just shut up about it. I know, just shut up. And now here I am. I'm, 16 weeks, I guess, into keto. And I am literally having to stop myself from calling my friends, calling people I haven't seen in a while, calling people I haven't, that I grew up with, and relatives and people who I just know that this diet would change their life. I know it because it's changed my life. Because I'm different. Because I, first and foremost, lost 150 pounds doing Weight Watchers and running and exercising more, really running. And by the way, you know what's wild? I went for a run today. I went for a 7-mile run. And the first 3.5 miles, I felt really good. The last 3.5 miles, it was a little bit of a struggle. I'm like, I'm not in the shape I want to be in. I got to gear up. I have a half marathon coming up in a couple of weeks. This morning, when I got on the scale, and again, I get on the scale every morning, and I'm no longer playing the scale game. If you don't know what the scale game is, the scale game is for overeaters, which I have always been. I've always identified as an overeater, a stuffer. Listen to your body. My body's a fat liar, always been an overeater. And the scale game is where if you weigh yourself every day, you take the weight that you have every day and you do the little math, either you're plus or minus, and you use that information to decide on whether or not you should have a treat today. If I was down a pound, I might have a little extra dessert, or dessert at all, or an extra helping of whatever sometime today, because this morning on the scale I was a pound down. That's called the scale game. Anyway, you always lose, by the way, of the scale game. There's no winners at that kind of a scale game. However, I am now weighing myself, and that's the danger of weighing yourself every day, is you fall into this trap of playing the scale game. But I've been weighing myself every day now while I've been on keto and not playing the scale game because, and I mean this sincerely, as much as I love, and I mean love, emphatically love, watching that scale go down further. I mean, nothing brings me so much joy than to walk on that scale every morning and see it drop 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 3 ounce, a pound. I mean, I'm like, eureka. I feel so great about it. And truth be told, every day I step on that scale, I have a different weight. And it's not always down. Sometimes it's up, and it's totally unreasonable. I mean, I fast for 3 days a week, and starting on Sunday, and I don't eat again until Wednesday. And I will get on the scale on a Tuesday, and I'll have gained weight since Sunday. Like, I haven't eaten in 2 days. How is that possible? Okay. Because my body and the scale just mess with me, all right? I think they're in cahoots. They're playing jokes on me all the time, and I'm no longer being offended by it. I'm now laughing with them. Instead of them laughing at me, I'm now laughing with them. I'm like, that's funny, that's stupid, that's silly, who cares? Because my number one metric that I am measuring every single day, the only metric I care about every single day, is my glucose under 100 and is my ketones above 1? That's it. That's all I want to know. Do I have a healthy DBR, Dr. Boz Ratio? If it's under 80, I'm happy. If it's 20, like it is today, I'm ecstatic. And again, keep in mind, I haven't eaten since Sunday. So I'm, a little after 4:15 on Wednesday right now. And it's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve. And anyway, my whole point is, this morning I got on the scale and I weighed 196.5 96.7. I should tell you that I traveled for the holiday, for the Christmas holiday. So I was traveling over the weekend, so I wasn't able to weigh in on Saturday. So I didn't get to weigh in until Monday morning. And at Monday morning weigh-in, I weighed 199.9. I couldn't believe it. This is the first time I've been under 200 pounds since 1997, since I got out of the Marine Corps boot camp. I went into the Marine Corps boot camp about 210 pounds. I came out of the Marine Corps boot camp 187 pounds. So my leanest, and of course I was in really great shape coming out of the Marine Corps, was 187 in 1997. Actually, I think I'm wrong. It might have been January 1998 because I went into boot camp November 1997. Yeah, okay, so I'm wrong. Okay, so it's 1998, January 1998, February, I guess. Either way, it's been a long time since I've been under 200 pounds. Even on Weight Watchers, when I lost all that weight initially, my lowest weight I got to was 207. So 199.9 on Monday, 199.9 on Tuesday. This morning, 196.7. Now, none of these are official. I take my official weight on Saturday. Unless it's not good, then I'll take it on Sunday. Not kidding. While I was out for my run today, I was thinking about it. You know, when I was doing Weight Watchers, do you know how I would celebrate having a big win of weight loss? And I don't mean weeks of weight loss. I mean, if I got on, because every Saturday morning I was doing, you go to the Weight Watchers meeting, the first thing you do is you weigh in. And if I lost a pound or two, I mean, just a pound, if I lost a single pound, when I left that Weight Watchers meeting, do you know what I did? I went to McDonald's and I had a celebratory double quarter pounder with cheese. I would even I celebrated everything with food. Everything, including losing weight. So silly. And here I am, 4 months in to keto. I'm taking Zepbound, to be clear. I'm fasting 3 days a week, and then I'm intermittent fasting. I'm doing OMAD. I'm only eating one meal a day, dinner with my wife. And I got on that scale at 196.7 today. And do you know how I wanted to celebrate? I gave my wife a high five first. You should know that. I'm like, high five. She's annoyed with me, but high five me anyway. Thank you. I couldn't wait to go for a run because I've run at 350 pounds. I've run at 340. I've run at 330. I've run at 330, 320, 310, 300, at 290, at 280, at 270, at 260. Do you know what I haven't done since 1998 is run as someone under 200 pounds, and I couldn't wait to put on my sneakers and go for a run, which I thought was going to be the lightest run of my life. It wasn't. It's still running, so. But my confession is, and I would love your thoughts, leave a comment if you wouldn't mind. Tell me. Would you be upset? Honestly, let me give you the scenario. I got a few people in mind. I have a few people in mind that I am dying to reach out to. And I want to do it on the down low. I want to give them a call. I want to go, I've been thinking about you. And I know that you have been struggling with weight, and as much as I have. And I want to tell you about this program I've been following and how it's worked for me. And I guarantee, I know it would work for you too. Can I tell? Let's be honest too here. I have nothing to sell. I'm not selling anything. I'm not. If there's anything I'm selling, I'm saying go to Dr. Boz. Forget my affiliate link. I do have an affiliate link, but forget that. Who cares? Just look up Dr. Boz. on YouTube and start watching, start learning. And then if you can afford it, sign up for her 21-day metabolic class. It changed my life. It literally. I'm sitting here right now at 196.7 pounds, the lightest I've been since 1993 or 1998. How long ago is that anyway? 27 years? Holy Moses. That's a long time. Long time. Look her up. Subscribing to her YouTube channel is free. You don't have to do anything. She gives you all the answers in the videos. If you're like me, I need more than just the answers in the video. I need a little hand holding. I need some deep dive explanations. I don't just do because somebody tells me to do. I want it to make sense to me. So I'm really research driven. I'm like, well, how is this and how is that? And explain this. She'll give you all the answers. I want to reach out to my friends and I want to tell them about keto and I want to convince them to do it. Even though I know I can't convince them, as just like nobody could convince me. No, that's another thing. That's another thing that's really interesting is that I've had so many people in my life, well-intentioned, bring me ideas and stuff. And even my best friend's Devin Luciano. He's hands down my best friend. Talk to him all the time. He's the one who introduced me to keto. He's the one who got me involved in this whole thing. Even he talked to me about it forever before I did it. You know, I'm not under any illusion that I'm going to be able to talk you into starting it tomorrow. But I am hoping that I at least open the door so that you start being curious about keto. Start being curious about keto. Start being curious enough to watch some videos on it on YouTube. You know, go do a little deep dive Saturday or something and just on keto and listen to people's real stories. And by the way, I'm super excited to announce that I do have a few guests lined up that are going to be on my lives here pretty soon who have amazing stories, life transformation stories based on following the ketogenic diet. And I can't wait to share them with you because they're so inspiring. I'm so moved by them. And how would you feel if you were my friend? You were my fat friend. Let's call a spade a spade. How would you feel if you were my fat friend? And you know, now let's be honest here. You know that I've struggled with weight nearly my whole life here. You've seen me because I wrote a book. Here, let me pull it up here. I wrote a book on dieting. And then gained like 20 pounds and back. And I felt like a fraud even selling my book. I mean, this is the least successful book that I have written. And I've written a lot of books. This is the only diet book I've written, and it's the least successful. And the reason it's the least successful is because I put the least amount of effort into sharing it. And the reason I put the least amount of effort into sharing it is because I continued to struggle with weight. And, you know, when you're writing a book about, hey, this is how, it's literally called Adventures in Dietland, How to Win at the Game of Dieting from a Former Fat Guy. And then, of course, here's the back of the cover, and it's me surrounded by junk food while I'm holding an apple. Because, again, this is how I succeeded, by avoiding all this fast food, junk food, and embracing Weight Watchers. And so it's like a nice little visual representation. But because I gained weight again, because I couldn't keep it off. I never went back to 350, but I did get to 267, which is, man, that's a lot of weight. I went from 207, that's my lowest on Weight Watchers, to 267. And in that 267, although admittedly there were times in there where I was just fat. I was just eating and ordering Chinese food and getting the double desserts, and I don't care. I want to try it. I don't care. But most of the time I was still dieting, still counting, still tracking. Every time I lose weight, I would celebrate with food. Too funny. Would you mind a call from me? That's the big question. Should I reach out to my friends? I really want to. Only because I want to be helpful. I don't want to sell. I don't have a deal with anybody. I'm not selling steak. I'm not selling bacon or cheeseburgers. I'm not selling anything. Or sardines. Although I did bring a can of sardines with me, by the way. These are the sardines that I've been eating. Let me rephrase that. These are the sardines that I ate to get into a state of ketosis. I have not eaten sardines since I got into a state of ketosis. So I did a 3-day sardine fast. And just so you know what that is, that means you eat nothing but sardines for 3 days. So usually starts on a Sunday. You would, whatever time you want, and whatever time you start the sardine fast is when you end the sardine fast, by the way. So let's say you decide that you're going to open a can of sardines and you're going to choke down that first can, and it probably is going to require you to choke it down. I know it required me to. I also added hot sauce, which is pretty good. On noon on Sunday, I opened a can of sardines and I ate it, much as I didn't like it. And Dr. Boz also wanted me to add fat to it. So you could add, take a tablespoon of butter, add MCT oil or olive oil. Make sure it's actually olive oil, not canola oil disguised as olive oil. And then going forward, anytime you're hungry, you can have as many cans of sardines as you want. However, you have to have a minimum of 2. You have to at least have 2 cans of sardines a day. And you have your last can of sardines on Wednesday at the same time you had your first can. So I had my first can at noon on Sunday. I had to have my last can at noon on Wednesday. Anyway, the result of the sardine fast was it put my body into a state of ketosis. And I have not been out of a state of ketosis ever since. So a lot of people will repeatedly do the sardine fast when they have a little hiccup. Maybe they had a dumpling at a Chinese restaurant or something. I don't know. And their ketones hit the floor. They celebrated Christmas. They're like, I'm going to live my life and have a cookie. No big deal. And so to get back into a state of ketosis, they would redo the sardine challenge. Now me, I've not had to redo the sardine challenge because I have not had a cookie or a dumpling or anything. I am so locked in and focused on my longevity, my health, that nothing is going to taste as good as living longer. So those are my sardines. That's how you get into a state of ketosis. Dr. Boz would walk you through that entire thing. Again, tell me, would you mind if I called you and said, hey, I found some answers, would love to talk to you about it. The other thing that I want to talk about today, well, there's 2 things I want to talk about, 3 things perhaps, but the first thing I want to talk about is, or just mention, is Dr. Boz, and actually let me pull this up because it's, do I have it pulled up here? I don't know if I pulled it up. No, I didn't pull it up. Okay. Well, that's okay. Dr. Boz just did an interview yesterday with this guy named Chase Hughes. Chase Hughes. You got to watch this interview. I watched it last night when it was released, but I was kind of in and out, so I wasn't being able to pay attention to the whole thing. I started to rewatch it again today, and it's all about brain health, and it's about how to brainwash yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, what are we talking about, right? Like, and by the way, that's 90% of this book. This book is about how to win at the game of dieting. What I learned in my 150-pound loss journey during Weight Watchers is most dieting is behavior, right? Like it's really behavior. Like you got to trick your, you got to do the behavior thing. You got to really pay attention to when you eat, what triggers you eating, when do you overeat, and how to get out of it. And so this guy, Chase Hughes, Dr. Boz has an interview with him, is saying that there are specific ways to brainwash anybody, including yourself. And I don't know about you, but I'm all in. I mean, I was taking notes. He was saying, there's 3 things that you have to do. You have to build a collage. You have to build a pro collage and a negative collage about your future self and your what happens if you don't adhere to the future. You got to listen to Chase Hughes. Don't listen to me, because obviously. And then the 3 beliefs, the 3 non-negotiables, the 3 standards. It's like an interview that is probably going to take me a month to listen to because I want to do everything he's saying. I'm so interested in outliving everyone. I'm so interested in being my best self going forward. I've had decades of junk, decades of abuse, decades of not putting myself first, decades of snacking and falling for the commercials. And when I was a kid, talk about how easily manipulated I was. When I was a kid, there was a commercial for a brand new candy bar called a whatchamacallit. It's called a whatchamacallit. And there was a commercial of a teenage boy who looked like me. Right? He's like 13, 14. I was at the time 13, 14. And he got a whatchamacallit. His mom bought him a whatchamacallit candy bar. But when he went to grab it, she said, no. You have to clean your room first. And so then the commercial zooms and he is flying around the room, cleaning his room. And then, eureka. He's laying in bed, he's got his feet crossed, and he's eating a whatchamacallit. I asked my mom for a whatchamacallit, and then I cleaned my room. She didn't tell me to, but I cleaned my room so that I could lay in bed and cross my legs and eat my whatchamacallit just like the kid on the commercial. I have been hoodwinked into believing food is the only way to get pleasure my whole life. Oh, me. Me. Silly. Oh, I also have a little update. I don't know if I mentioned this at all, but I have been taking omeprazole I've taken omeprazole for nearly my entire adult life. If I wasn't taking omeprazole, I was buying stock in Tums, because I was a big eater and a big drinker. And of course, I was just constantly having indigestion. Ibuprofen and Tums, I should have bought stock in both of those. And then, I got introduced to omeprazole, and I was on omeprazole for like 10 years. Every day, taking omeprazole for 10 years. When I lost the 150 pounds initially. And then I finally got off of omeprazole because I lost all of that weight. And then I started to regain weight over the last 2 years. And of course, heartburn, indigestion started to come up. And so I started taking omeprazole again. Prilosec, my doctor prescribed me with, I think Prilosec, but it's omeprazole. It's the same thing. And I started taking omeprazole again, and I hated myself for it. Let's be honest, because I was like, really? You got off this medication that you took for 10 friggin' years. What gives, right? But then, so I start doing this keto diet, again, 5 months ago. August, 5 months ago. And I mean, I didn't get into ketosis until September, but I kind of started it in August. Doesn't matter. And, I'm down to 215 pounds. And I'm like, why am I still taking omeprazole? I should easily be off of omeprazole. So I stopped taking it and I instantly get heartburn. Like instantly. Like the next day, I'm like, what the heck? So I was like, oh my God, is there a mechanical problem? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And so I looked it up, and apparently, two things. One, the GLP-1 that I'm taking, I guess there is some side effects with heartburn. I think that's accurate. And then the second thing is, I also saw a protocol that you shouldn't just stop taking omeprazole. You should actually wean yourself off of it. And so that's what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, is weaning myself. I went from taking it every day, or went from taking 2 pills a day to taking 1 pill a day to taking 1 every other day to taking 1 every 3 days, to where I just took 1 a week this week. And I'll tell you, I have not yet had any symptoms of heartburn. So hopefully, I have found the cure, because I don't want to take any medication. I mean, I'm taking Dr. Boz D2K3 or K3D2, whatever that. It's a vitamin, and I'm doubling up on my vitamin D only because it's winter and I spend an awful lot of time indoors because I work from home. So I doubled up on my vitamin D, and I take and I also take fluvoxamine to reduce uric acid, because I'm still trying to get rid of all the uric acid in my body, and I take magnesium, but I take magnesium about 30 minutes before I go to bed. But that's a good update as well. Getting off omeprazole is a real, not having a heartburn, not having indigestion. That's okay. My body's doing something right. Like, you know what else? We'll see. We'll see how everything works. And I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to share everything with you, because I'm learning. I'm literally learning here. Because I have a back injury, I have neuropathy, which is simply like pins and needles on your skin. And it shows up on my right thigh. It's a weird thing, because it hasn't always been on my right thigh, but it is today. It's been on my right thigh for like 10 years now, actually. And it always bothered me. And I've tried everything. The number one thing that works the best is gabapentin. It worked the best for me, but the side effects of gabapentin were really terrible for me. So at some point I decided that I'm just going to deal with the pain. I'm just going to suck it up. A little suck it up soup doesn't hurt anybody, right? A little Marine Corps suck it up soup. That's what they serve in the Marine Corps, by the way. Ibuprofen and suck it up soup. And it would wake me up from a dead sleep, this burning, tingling in my leg, 3 nights a week on average for 20 years. I mean, it's just always there. I had a little flare-up of the pins and needles about 2 weeks ago, and I realized at that time when it came that it was the first time it's happened in months. Now, I do not know if being in a state of ketosis helps heal neuropathy. I don't know. But I will say, since I've been in a consistent state of ketosis, I've not had any neuropathy. I've not had any flare-ups, meaning it's not coming to the surface and like burning and making me wake up with pain. It does still hurt if I touch it. Like if I'm just rubbing my leg, I can feel the neuropathy. I can feel it. And it's not comfortable. It does hurt when I touch it. But it's not flaring up and waking me up in the middle of the night. I think that's worth noting. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if that's a result of keto, a result of fasting. I don't know. I'm going to enjoy some rock salt while we're here. Because, it's my 3rd day of fasting. I'm going to eat a little something after this little podcast I'm doing here. And then Louise and I are going to a piano bar dinner, 7:30. For the new year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do a little dancing, a little jig. Be good. Next month, starting tomorrow, actually, January 1st, is National Carnivore Month. And the challenge is to try it. Just give it a try. Give yourself 30 days of eating only animal products and see what the result is at the end of January. Do you feel better? Did you lose a little weight? Is there more clarity? Are you less hungry? Are the cravings gone? Blah, blah, blah. I am going to do it. I am going to do it. I'm interested. I think it sounds interesting. I do not think I will have a hard time with it because I'm really into keto. And by the way, there's levels of keto. I'm a stage 12 in keto. If there are 12 stages, according to Dr. Boz, there's 12 stages of keto. And you start at number 1 and you want to get to number 12. And I'm at number 12. Number 12 is somebody who fasts for 72 hours a week, every week. And they only eat one meal a day. And that one meal contains less than 20 grams of carbohydrates. That's me. However, my meals don't contain less than 20 grams of carbohydrates. My meals contain no carbohydrates. They're really, other than maybe I might get a couple of grams of carbohydrates from cheese or eggs, because there are some carbohydrates in eggs, but I'm not eating any fruit. I'm not eating any wheat products. Zero. I'm not eating potatoes. I'm not eating any starch like that. I do occasionally have a vegetable. I am partial to a little broccoli with some butter on it. I do like to have a little cabbage in the form of, what the heck is that called? Coleslaw. I do like a little coleslaw. Carnivore, starting tomorrow, there'll be no vegetables. But that's really be the only thing that I'll be cutting out because everything else is, again, like I said, all animal products anyway. For those of you who might try going the carnivore challenge tomorrow, congratulations. Good for you. I think it's a great idea. And I just want to share a tiny little warning. I gained weight the first time I tried carnivore. I gained weight. I didn't lose weight. I gained weight. And the reason is because there is a false belief with carnivore. The false belief is you can eat as much as you want, whenever you want, and still lose weight. That is simply not true. The amount of food that you eat still matters. How often you eat still matters. Even the time of day you eat still matters. I didn't know this. I didn't know any of that when I first tried doing carnivore. I was listening to everybody else. Like, you could just eat as much as you want and lose weight. I mean, it sounds too good to be true. And it was. It was for me anyway. I mean, I'm only talking about my experiences. I'm only talking about what's happened to me. So I feel really, and my friend Devin is carnivore, but he's not tracking his metrics. He's not doing a blood test every day. He's not checking glucose, not checking ketones. And he's under the impression that he doesn't need to because he's carnivore. And I tried to explain it to him. I didn't do a very good job at it. I tried to explain it to him that, well, one, I think if you don't check your blood every day, then you can't be sure that you're in ketosis. And being in a state of ketosis is the most important thing, whether you're on a keto diet or a carnivore diet, being in a state of ketosis. Overeating protein has an ability, your body takes over, if you eat too much protein, your body will turn it into glucose. And it'll raise your glucose level, i.e. taking you out of ketosis, which is why overeating on a carnivore diet, and you're like, well, it's just protein, right? Keto is not protein-centered. It's fat-centered. It's fat-forward, not protein-forward. 75, 80% fat, 20, 25% protein. That's the ratio. Carnivore they generally don't have a ratio. They just simply say, only eat animal products. And, if you're getting a sweet tooth, have some butter. Because that's when you think about what satisfies your sweet tooth, you think about sweets, it's all fat. It's all fat. Like ice cream is fat forward, right? Like candy is fat forward. So it's the fat. You can get the same craving. You can relieve the craving of sweets just by eating fat, just by eating butter. It's true. I know, I do it. But I just want to give you the warning. I'm going to be tracking. I'm going to be sharing my results all month of January on did going keto have a big impact? Going carnivore have a big impact, a different impact? Has it changed much of anything? For me, I don't think it will, because I'm still going to be tracking my macros. I'm still going to be eating one meal a day. I'm still going to be fasting 3 days a week. I'm still going to be keto. I'm still going to be tracking my measures, my ketones and my glucose. So I don't think it'll have a big impact on me. We'll see. And for those of you who are interested in the carnivore challenge, hook me up. Come see me. I'm on Twitter. Let me show you my little Twitter handle here. This is me on Twitter. It's just Ralph Peterson 08 is my Twitter handle. I think Ralph Peterson was taken, which is why I needed the 08. 8 is my favorite number, only because when I was 7, I wanted to be 8 more than anything else. I know it sounds kind of silly, but there's an awful lot of fantastic keto and carnivore groups and people to follow who are really dedicated to keto and carnivore on X. I recommend going to X and looking these people up. Just do a search for keto or carnivore, and you're going to run into an awful lot of fantastic people who are on the same journey, trying to take their health serious, trying to figure it all out. And so it's a really great big community. And of course, come meet up with me. I would love to see you over here on X. I would love to interact with you on X. Before I go, I want to talk about, the final thing I want to talk about is something that has been driving me crazy. And it's this here. Let me show you a little image here. I saw this on X. And for those of you who might just be listening, it is a picture of Steve Harvey, who is laughing. And he's like, laughing. And the post, the tag to the post says, when you've lost 20 pounds on Ozempic, but then you realize 50% of it comes from muscle. I put a little smiley face over the person who posted its image, and I tried my best just to block out their name. So, because I have no interest in talking about that person. What I do want to talk about, though, is, we can't win, can we? When we're 350 pounds, we're fat and disgusting. And if we take Ozempic and lose pounds, well, now we're just a dumb idiot. Don't you know 50% of it comes from muscle? You know how condescending this is? And by the way, I covered this guy's picture, but his profile picture is of him without a shirt on. Why? Because he's ripped. And he's probably always been ripped his whole life. I didn't look him up, but he clearly looks like somebody who has been blessed with the chemistry that we all wish we were blessed with. And here he is dunking, taking a slam dunk on people. Don't you know 50% of your weight loss is from muscle, you wussy? I bet he is a fitness influencer. I bet he talks to people and tries to coach people on weight loss. And he knows nothing about it. Clearly. I found another one. This one, I should have made this one a little bigger. I can't really read it. This one is from another person or two people. Oh, I forgot to block out one of their pictures. Well, I blocked out their name. This person says, also, it's obvious walking down the street who has taken the drug. You're ugly. Women with that square chin look manly. I have yet to meet anyone who thinks the Ozempic look is in any way attractive, be you male or female. Sharon Osbourne is most like Meg. No, not nasty. Give up Ozempic. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Look at this. Look at this. Look. See this? See this? See this? See this? See these fat rolls? See this? See this? My fat roll looks weird because I have scars. Because I had a tummy tuck. Because I had my skin removed. Because when I lost all that weight the first time, I did it on Weight Watchers, and I was not burning fat. I was not getting into a state of ketosis, and so I had all this excess skin. But let me explain something to you. I'll show it to you. What am I, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This isn't. This is Zepbound. This is not embarrassing. Needing a hormone replacement is not embarrassing. What are you trying to accomplish with a post like this? What are you trying to say? Fat people are they don't have enough discipline. You shouldn't be taking Ozempic or Zepbound. You shouldn't be wearing reading glasses. You should just read. Try harder to read. It drives me crazy. And it is why I'm not only unapologetically keto, I'm unapologetically pro-Zepbound. I love it. It's changed my life. Do I have Ozempic face? Am I ugly? Am I a disgusting person because I needed the help of Ozempic or a GLP-1 Zepbound? Are you a better person than me? Because your chemistry set came well equipped with everything you need and mine didn't? Tell me how you feel about redheads or short people. Or is this hate only reserved for fat people? I know. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you a secret. I used to be a pretty bad alcoholic, and I hated it. I never in my wildest dreams believed that I would become an alcoholic. My dad was an alcoholic, my brother, my sister. I'm like, everybody in my family, close-knit, where I grew up in a very poor neighborhood. And I say poor, and it's not as, poor with cash, yeah, okay. But that wasn't the biggest thing that was poor. It was our standards. Our acceptable, what we passed for the way that you're able to behave, very poor. Anyway. And so I always wanted to be better than that. And to wake up and find yourself not better than everybody else around you. You're just as bad. You're just as fat. You're just as drunk or an alcoholic. You're just as much of a smoker and just as much of a liar and just as much of a cursor. And just as uneducated as everybody else. I mean, it's just a slap in the face, like one of those revolving slapping machines, just constantly, gee. I was so embarrassed. And I was always hoping that I would get to something would happen. Like I would hit rock bottom in front of somebody, like in front of my good friends. And they would pick me up and go, all right, Ralph, enough. You got to stop this behavior. We're going to lock you into a closet. We're going to force you to quit drinking. We're going to make you get your life together. And that's it. Unfortunately, it never happened. Despite how bad it got for me, nobody ever pulled me aside and said, all right, I'm taking the keys away. I'm putting you in the closet and I'm forcing you to do this. And that's what I always wanted, but I never got it. Finally, and I write about it in this book, by the way. I talk about how I hit rock bottom and then I fell down the stairs, because that's literally what happened to me. The day that I wanted to give up on myself, I'd become sick and tired of myself. I'm so done with myself. The day that happened was the day I decided to make a very drastic change. Let me tell you about the changes I made. I quit my job. I got a divorce. I moved out of town. I had to leave my entire existence in order to live. Because everyone and everything that I was around was an enabler. Were people who did not see me as having a problem, who did not think I was all that big of a deal, that my drinking was all that big of a deal. Nobody saw it and felt it like I did. I had to walk away from everything. I walked away from my house. I walked away from my marriage. I walked away from my job. I literally moved 2 states away and I started over. And there's something magical about that, because now people meet me and they don't go, how'd you lose all the weight? Did you take some pill or did you get a tummy tuck or what did you? Because they never knew me when I was 350 pounds. They only knew me at the 207 pound. And to them, I just always looked this way. And I no longer had to explain myself. What a feeling to just be accepted by people and not have to explain yourself. Oh, are you taking Ozempic? Oh, are you taking Zepatine? Oh, why don't you just go screw off? You don't need anybody else's permission. Nobody is ever, if they're looking down on you because you're fat, they're going to look down on you because you're skinny. That's the truth. You are never going to make them happy. You are never going to satisfy them. They are always going to be judgmental. They are always going to be two-faced. They're always going to be thinking themselves are better and superior because they have the couple of hormones that you don't have. Screw those people. Screw those people. If you can't outright get them out of your life, at least limit your exposure to them. It's worth it. You are worth it. Now, I'm going to go take my shot of Zepbound because it's Wednesday and I take my shots on Wednesday. I'm going to go have a little bit of butter or something to ease my stomach into a yummy dinner that I'm going to have with my wife at 196.7 pounds, and I'm not going to celebrate with food. I'm going to celebrate with my wife. I hope you all have the year that you've always wanted. I did this. I went from 267 to 196.7 in 5 months. Just think what you can do in 1 year. 2026. It's not only my year, it's yours too. I'll talk to you soon.